Hello, everyone, and welcome. It is Wonder Women Wednesday. I'll be right with you. I hate videos. Now, you may be wondering if I hate videos, what the heck am I doing here? Hello, everyone. Happy Wednesday. I am super excited. If you are just joining us, thank you for being here. Um, I am about to join the live stream to the radio. So stay tuned. Of course, I have an amazing guest lined up for all of you. If you and I have not met yet, my name is Inga van Roy, and I'm recognized as a community connection catalyst. Now, what does that mean? Well, I help you build your community so you can make more friends and more money. So if you need help with that, reach out to me. Let's get connected and see how I can help you. Um, I'm bringing on a wonderful guest. Her name is Dorothy O'Dell. And believe me, she is the overcomer. Um, so, without further ado, why don't I just add her to the stream?
Hey, Inger.
Hello.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Hey. So I can't hear you,
Oh, you
but
can't hear
I'm
me.
gonna check my stream to see why. Give me 1 second. Um,
I
one
love the
second.
boxing gloves.
So I think you can probably hear me,
I can hear
but
you.
yeah. I can hear the headphones. I'm just not certain why it's not happening for me on here. So, can you speak again, Dorothy?
Hello. Can you hear me now?
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. Can't hear.
No?
So,
Hmm.
I'm gonna have to do this. Give me 1 second.
Okay.
Let's see.
Testing. Testing. That's
Uh,
says my audio is working.
please bear with me. We are experiencing some technical difficulties. So, I'm just working to troubleshoot it quickly. Uh, let's see if I
Can you hear me now?
take this out.
Can can you hear me now or no?
Can you hear me now?
Oh, there you go.
Yes, I can. Trust that
Woohoo!
if you are listening on radio, you can both of us. But welcome, Dorothy. Thank you for being
Huh?
here and spending some time with myself and the audience. Um, you are outside. Oh my
I am
goodness.
outside. It's it's
Um,
it's like
yeah,
I had to get out of the office, into some fresh air. And I
wow.
love the fighting gloves that are on your
Tell
bottom
us,
right.
what is the temperature there where you are?
I don't know. I think it's like minus
Yes,
one.
that's for perseverance. That's for keeping on.
I think it's
Oh,
minus one out right now.
-1. Wow. Yes, everyone, you heard it's -1 degrees Celsius where Dorothy is. And yes, she's outside taking a walk and being on this show with us. Oh my
Well,
gosh,
I'm
I love
actually
it.
mobile,
So,
which is
Dorothy, tell
not
us,
normie.
who are you and what do you do?
I am Dorothy O'Dell.
Say again?
I am Dorothy O'Dell. I am a wife, an author, live show host. Um, I wear many hats. I'm a bookkeeper by trade, stepmom, and I just like to have fun. I really am creating my own little world over here in Windsor, Ontario, and want to make a massive impact in the world. I'm a veteran ally and a mental health advocate, so I wear many hats and I'm in many spaces.
And why not? Um, we both do, and that's okay. It's all about impact, right?
All about impact, yes. Making sure everybody gets
Um,
what they need.
it looks like this.
Sorry?
Good. Can you tell us, sorry, I there's a delay in our audio for some reason. I'm not certain why you can't hear me. But let me ask you a question. What led you to be where you are today? Can you walk us through your journey? Especially, you know, I'm speaking about professionally. Like, how did you get to be an author, a speaker, a live streamer, and everything else?
Well, the first 25 years of my career, I was a bookkeeper, still am. But I always found that I wanted to do and be more. It's funny. I come from an amazing family, a lot of love, a lot of chaos, a lot of, and when I say chaos, I mean, it's just, there was a lot of times where my parents were ill. I grew up being bullied and things like that. And I knew what it was like to suffer in silence and not tell anybody anything that's going on. Um, and so it came to a head about 4 years ago, maybe 5 years ago. And my husband and I had just bought our first home. Just got married after being single for 43 years. And I was I packed everything up, moved here to Windsor to be with him, and left my family behind. I mean, it was only an hour, but still, all my friends, everything I left behind. And I just knew that I needed to do something more. And I knew that I had always volunteered when I was living in Chatham. And when I moved to Windsor to be with him, I dedicated my life to just being a wife and a mom and working outside of the home all the time. And I felt that God was pulling me in another direction. And so had a conversation with a girlfriend and I said, hey, I think I've been through like a lot. And I'm like, could you imagine if I wrote a book? And she said, well, you should. And I said, who's going to read it? And she said, I would. So that's how I became an author. Pandemic hit, and God said, now you have the time. You don't have to drive the hour to and from work anymore for that particular period. And I sat down and wrote my book within 3 months. And I just knew that, somebody needed to hear what I had to say, because there's a lot of people that live with no hope. And there's a lot of people that think that they're the only ones going through that situation. And I'm a firm believer that everybody has a story and that our story matters and that we should all be heard. So, of course, I thought, there we go. I wrote the book. Now it's going to sell like hotcakes. I'm going to be like Jack Canfield, make my first $1 million. Only that did not happen. No one knew who I was. No one knew who I was. I was this chick out in Windsor, Ontario, trying to make a difference, but nobody knew it. So I had saw a post online about a course for live streaming. And I thought, well, what the heck is this? And so I took the course, and within 6 weeks, I had my Unstoppable Overcomer show up and running. And I'm like, I have no idea. I was scared spitless. And I was just like, okay, well, you're networking for your book. These people that you've networked, bring them onto your show. They've got to have stories. So we're 139 episodes deep in that show. Um, and like I said, when the pandemic hit, a lot of businesses in Windsor, Ontario had to close. And I thought, well, what's one way I could give back to our community to help business owners to be seen globally? Because if nothing else, the pandemic had made it even playing field for all of us. You know, we're just
Yeah.
a Zoom call away from everybody. And so I started the second show, which is the Power Half Hour Unstoppable Business Owner. And in meeting these incredible people that I had on my show, I met a gentleman by the name of Greg Bicknell. Greg was a 28-year Air Force veteran who had attempted suicide multiple times. And when he decided to reach out for help, he was told to make an appointment. Anybody who knows Greg knows that lit a fire under his butt like you wouldn't believe. And so that was the catalyst for him starting his nonprofit camaraderie rescue mission. Um, then when I had him on my show originally, it was 22 veterans a day dying by suicide. Within
Wow.
6 months, the number had doubled. With civilians, we're at 136 per day. And we're going backwards instead of going forwards. And so I've made it my mission to eradicate veteran suicide as well, any suicide really. After losing my uncle to suicide on Christmas Day, I knew what it was like on the other side. And I was just like, okay, something's got to give. And so that is what my driving force in life is to be the light so that others, we could share the light into the dark and bring a whole new world to it. So
That's
yeah.
beautiful. That's beautiful. Wow. Um, let's see. I think I saw a comment. I have a comment from Whitney. She says
Hey, Whitney.
she's tuning in from Katy in Texas. So, hi,
Mhm.
Whitney. Thank you for being here with us.
I
I know
bet you
that,
it's warmer than -1 there.
yeah, I'm sure she is. I think where
Well,
I am is about -5 right now. So, you're warmer than me.
you're in the snow belt, my dear.
Yes, I know. Uh, I, you know,
Yes.
I had like this block about I can't go outside when it's freezing cold. No.
Well,
And
I was
believe
going to go
me,
sit in my Jeep, but I was like, oh, it's nice out here till I got to the back of the building.
oh my gosh. Um, yeah. So we have, you see, not everything is being pulled. Um, so I see a comment from Sri saying, hey, tuning in from Houston. So hi Sri, thank you for being here with us. And
Hello.
Whitney is sending us some snowflakes. I don't want it.
No snowflakes. Send us sunshine, man. Send me to
Yes.
Jamaica or Bahamas or somewhere warm.
Oh my gosh. A friend of mine is in Montreal and she sent me a video of what it looks like there right now. It looks beautiful, like a postcard, but definitely not a postcard I want to be at. It's cold. And they had like I think she said 35 centimeters of snow in Montreal.
Well,
Yeah,
keep it in Montreal because I don't need it here in Windsor.
right? Oh my gosh. Nope, absolutely not. Um, so okay, I have somebody tuned in from Cape Town. Leon Mani says, "Good evening, Inga. How are you?" So, thank you for tuning in, Leon. Good to see you. In the comments, I'm well. How are you? And yeah, Whitney sent us. Oh my goodness, Whitney sent us a beach, a cocktail, and some sun.
Girlfriend,
Thank you,
after
Whitney.
the morning I've had, I could use the cocktail.
Yes. I can imagine. Oh my goodness. Um, do you want to go to your car? Are you
I'm
getting
good.
cold?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. Rather you than me. Oh my gosh.
I like the fresh
So,
air. It gets me a lot. It makes me feel alive.
yeah, I guess. But when I can't feel my feet, I can't think about anything else.
That's where you got to just tune it out, my friend. Just tune it out.
Oh my gosh. I will try. So, um, I talk about Ubuntu and what it means and you know what it means to me and why it's such a close concept to my heart. But for those that don't know, Ubuntu is an ancient African word and it means humanity to others. It is often described as reminding us that I am because we are. And for me, I truly could not be me without you. I could not be me without Sri, without Whitney, that's in the comments, without Leon and Jay that sent me messages. Um, I could not be this person. Because of you, because of other friends, I became an author. I became a live stream host. Um, all because of seeing people like me and seeing them do it. So I realized, hey, if they can, so can I. Um, so, what does community mean to you, Dorothy?
Well, community to me is my inner tribe of people that will not let each other quit on each other.
Yeah.
We all have a dream. We all have goals. We all have something we're working towards. And I believe that without the community that I have built around myself, I wouldn't be where I am today. So for me, it's, people that God has chosen to put in my life to help me get to the next level. Um, and to not let me, quit on myself. Um, you know, it's funny. I've said this for the last, I probably closer to 4 years now than three, but I made a I made a connection on LinkedIn about almost 4 years ago, and she had this podcast, something about moving the rock podcast, and she had seen that I was an author, and she connected me to a friend of mine named Jen, and I was supposed to be on this woman's podcast, and her name was Karen. And anyways, make a long story short, she connected me to Jen. Jen saw my book. Jen said, I want 10 copies of your book. I'm going to put them in my Happy Mail. And Jen became one of my very best friends. And Jen led me to 6 other amazing people that came into my life at just the right time. Um, I came into their inner circle. And then, for those of you that don't know this part of the story, my dad got cancer just after I became engaged back in 2019. And when you have somebody who is your hero and you have somebody that, like, I could pretty much go and talk to my dad about anything. Most girls go to their moms. My dad was my go-to. And like, even on my way home from work, I would call him pretty much every day, just to see how he was doing. And you know it's I don't think I could count on maybe one hand the amount of times that I didn't talk to him in a week, or in a month or whatever. Anyways, you know what I'm getting. It was a connection. And so these women, when I was going through this and watching my hero die, really just surrounded me. And they knew my hopes, they knew my dreams, they knew what I was building, huge media empire. And they kept putting that in the forefront, and and being there as I was going through what I was dealing with. And I know that without that community, I wouldn't be where I am today. I know that. Without them and my family, I just know I would not have gone through that like I did. So
Well,
that's what community is to me.
I love that. It's the people that see you through, right?
Yeah.
See you through the ups and the downs in this journey of life.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Uh, so tell me, how is your career journey related to the work that you do in your community?
Well, it's funny that you asked that, because with my shows, I've had several of people within my community on the shows. I've done before I had those, though. Like, I was working with different organizations with our homelessness here, and with other organizations with there's a not only homelessness, but I forget, it's some kind of a woman's addiction house. And so I've really, there's been doing some coaching too the last couple years. And it's funny, every time I say I'm not a coach, people, it's like people come in droves and ask me for help and things like that. So I'm no longer fighting that. And so yeah, now I'm coaching. Um, and so I went in and I did some coaching in that within some of the houses that are within the area. Plus, I've had locals on my show too. Anybody that has anything local that is going on, and they want more eyes on that, they can contact me. But yeah, it's just building. It's funny, when I think of community, I just don't necessarily think of the people of Windsor, Essex, where I'm at. I think of the world as my community.
Yeah, me
Because when
too.
I think of community, I don't know, I think of like my LinkedIn community. I think of the friends that I built all across the United States. I just don't think of my community as my backyard.
Yeah, yeah, me too. Um, Community is just as far and wide as I can cast my net.
Exactly. And like my show is truly international. Like, I've had people from Australia, Ireland, Dublin, um, the UK, all across the United States of America. I think I probably hit. Well, no, I need somebody from Alaska to be on the show. um, so yeah, that might be the only state that I haven't had somebody. Um, and a fair amount of people from Canada, um, mostly Ontario. So maybe we'll go through
Yeah,
the provinces.
yes. Why not? Why
Why
not?
not?
That's awesome. Community doesn't have to just be the people that you touch either. Um,
No,
I mean, you and I, we're in the same province, but we've never met in person. Not
no,
yet.
not yet.
Hopefully,
Well,
2024 is when we will change that.
yes, my friend. Well, I've got a 7.5 hour trip in my near future. So if I can do that, I can make the 4 hours to you.
Oh my goodness. Okay, well, let's see. Um, so let me ask you this. What is the one thing that has helped you overcome adversity? You spoke about, just pushing through and perseverance, but how did that become your thing?
You know the song "Eye of the Tiger"?
Yes.
That is me. I feel like Rocky. I feel like I've been knocked down so many times, but I keep getting back up. I don't know any, and this may sound crazy because I know probably not a lot of people can identify with this, but I refuse to give up. I may be down for a little bit, like, depending on the severity of what I'm going through. I might hide for a day or a week, but you will never see me not get back up again. And it's just, it has been totally 100% bred in me that just to keep putting one foot in front of the other. And sometimes, my friends, it could be like a moment to moment taking a deep breath just to get through the day. I've
Yeah.
had several of those days where, it seems like everything has gone to crap. And I just really, um, taking that deep breath and pushing through. You have to remember, we've gotten through every hard day so far, right? So why not just keep going? Um,
Yeah. Oh my
and
gosh, you're so
I think God gives us the tools and the people when we need it. And I'm a firm believer in that. Like, uh, a lot of, I've done like a lot of personal development too over the last couple years. And, I think that's helped me because I'm totally not the same person that I was even yesterday, let alone a year ago. Um, and so it's just putting that foot in front of the other. I don't know any I don't know any other way. And I know that may sound strange and cliche, but I just don't know any other way.
Do you know what? I have to tell you something. I'm listening to you speaking, and so much of what you're saying resonates with me. It's like you're speaking about me because that's my mindset too. Like, I can't just lay down and let things happen, right?
Yeah.
I have to get up and keep pushing, keep walking, keep putting that one foot in front of the other, and I know I'll get there. I know I'll get there eventually. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Amazing. Whoop, and I apologize. That was my phone because I'm trying to read the messages that people are sending as well on WhatsApp. But let's move to let me let's go to the comments. I know that someone is there and has been commenting to us. So hello to you, Catherine.
Catherine. Hello, my
Yeah,
friend.
yes. She says the world is your community if you will engage with the world. Oh, I love that. Right? Like, a lot of people
Yes.
think that just because they're connected, that's it. But you need to engage with people to build relationship. Um, and
100%.
she says here, if you limit community, then you limit your ability to fly beyond where you are. Wow. Thank you. Wow. And she says here, how do you define adversity? How you define it will help you discover the best way to get through it for you. And I'm sorry, if you're on LinkedIn, Catherine also she shared a link to a YouTube video. She says, when you need the fuel to keep walking, here's a link. And I will copy and paste that in the WhatsApp group later on for everyone. Thank you, Catherine. She also says, when you need the fuel to keep walking, just sing along with Veggie Tales. I know, right? Oh my gosh. So,
It's
Dorothy, yes, go for it.
it's funny she brought up music because music has been my therapy for the last 2 years. I've enjoyed music pretty much my entire life, but
Yeah,
music can take me from like a low level of energy to like a very high level of energy in no time at all, with the right song, of course. Right. I cannot listen. I have a certain friend that she's all in the like classical stuff, and I'm just like, hell no, give me some rock and roll or give me something with a beat. Give me some Mandiza, give me some Justin Timberlake, give me some Survivor. Don't give me something that's going to put me to sleep. and it needs a good beat. Um, you know, and it's just it's funny. I put my headphones on at work the other day, and was listening to music, and I was like just dancing in my chair, and I'm of course right by the kitchen at work, so people could walk by me all the time, and I know I'm getting looks, but I just don't care. Like, I really don't care. If you don't like it, just keep walking. It's just, it's something that I needed in that moment to get me out of the zone I was in, and to keep me in like a high energy state so that I could get through the rest of my day, really.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, you know, actually, when I hear that song by Mandisa, "Overcomer," I think of you.
Oh, well, thank you. It's funny. I had one of my acquaintances reach out. She goes, "Hey, did you know about this song?" I'm like, "Yes, but I can't play it. I got to get the rights. I could, well, baby, Mandiza, if you're listening to this, can I use your song on my shows as the opening credits? That would be amazing." And if you've ever watched the YouTube video for that song, it's nothing but cancer survivors. I didn't realize it. I sat there and I watched the entire video more than once, but it's all cancer survivors that are on that on her video for that song.
Nice. Yeah, I haven't watched the video, but I actually play it quite a bit on my show on the
Okay.
radio.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And I actually have it lined up to play after I'm done talking to you. But
Awesome.
I want to read you something from, wow. I want to read you something from someone that's listening. They said, "I fully understand that refusing to give up. Indeed, God will always place the right people alongside us at the right time. It's all about the timing."
Mhm. And
So, wow.
allowing to receive it. I will
Yes,
add that too. Yeah.
yes. Love it. So, he, when before we talked, before we started the show, like a few days ago, I asked you, "So, what can I ask you?" And you said, "I'm an open book." So, um, tell me, Dorothy,
Yes.
what sort of things did you need to overcome and push through, utilizing perseverance to get through? Can you share with myself and of course everyone that's listening?
Being a business owner is probably, on the business side of thing, you just want business or you want personal too?
Um, everything,
Anything? So on the
anything.
business, anything on the business side, being a business owner, I it takes like dedication, right? And it takes, you have to be your own salesperson. I can be a salesperson for anybody in the world, but when it comes to me, I have that struggle. Like, it's not natural for me to sell myself. So that's
Oh,
one of the biggest things that I've had to overcome in business. And that's one of this last year I've done, like I said, a lot of personal development, a lot of um, different work that I put into myself this last year that is 100% gotten me to where I am today. Because it's funny, I'm in another summit today at 5 o'clock my time, and we had to ask for 20 people to sign up, and so that I can get an investment back. And I was like, okay, well, I'll just post it. And I was challenged. No, you go talk to people, you get it, have a private message with them, and you ask them clear straight up, this is what you need. And everybody I asked said yes.
yeah,
So I'm like, hello, if I applied that to everything, you know what would my life, how would my life look differently, right? And
yeah,
so it's just taking that step each day. um and so that's for me what it's been all about, in overcoming in business, and just pushing through that though, right? I have this lady that is actually in my community here where I live, and I call her the on purpose lady. She does the on purpose course, and amazing woman. And she says, you're the only person I know that continuously improves themselves without being prompted. If I am cognizant that there is a block or that there's something that needs to be fixed, I'm the first person to work on it. And she says, you don't find that anywhere else, which is 100% true. Like if I'm aware of something that I'm doing that is not beneficial to me or my outcome, then I'm 100% on it to change it, and for the better, not for the worse, obviously. So yeah, that's I guess what sets me apart.
Nice. What about on the personal side?
Oh Lord, I don't want to answer that question. So
Love it.
on the personal front, well, I am an open book, and I did say that. One of the hardest things that I've had to overcome is being a stepmom. I love, love him. Um, there's just a lot of things that I've had to overcome with taking on that role. Um, Personally, like, not to mention the fact that I grew up completely different than my husband. Not to mention um, the dynamics of everything that my husband had to go through. From separation and his divorce to marrying me, and then marrying me when I was just who I was, and then marrying me now when um, I'm the open book to the world, is sometimes hard for an extreme introvert.
Yeah,
Um, so with that being said, it's just, um, you know, when you're used to being raised a certain way, and then you go from that to having in your own home, having somebody that has free reign, it's
yeah,
very hard, uh, very difficult for me to just allow certain things to happen. But when you can see what the outcome's going to be, you pray against it. But unless things don't change, then and not to say everything's bad. There's some things that so growing up in my household, my parents didn't have a lot of communication. So I grew up in a house, very little communication. It was how they survived 47 years of marriage, I'll never know. But they did it. And so coming into my relationship, being out of an abusive relationship and then coming and being with my husband, now I took time to heal and stuff like that. There was years in between. But even though there's healing, there's always layers to healing, right? And so bringing that unbeknownst to me, unconsciously, into the marriage was just like putting undue and unnecessary pressures on both of us. So it's been a lot to overcome, but we are like so far night and day from where we were to where we're at now. It's
yeah,
amazing to watch, but like nowhere near where it was before. And so very thankful that I'm married to a man that's like, well, wait a minute, um, and if there's certain things that happen in the household that he's aware of, he will do anything in his power to change that. So um, you know opening your mouth and being vulnerable to your spouse is not something that I'm used to, but something that I'm getting used to. So overcoming that too is huge.
yeah. Wow, wow.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Let's see. So Whitney says it's relatable. Parenting is so hard. Um, it is, and I will say this. I don't know if I'm gonna be shot for saying this, but you know, parenting your own child is difficult.
Yeah.
Trust me. Like I have three. I have three girls, and they all have varying personalities. They're all in various stages of life.
Yep.
But there are days when I say, I can, I can, I, I'm it's difficult for me to say this, but I can understand like how some people get pushed over the edge
Yep.
where they they lose themselves and maybe
Yes.
sometimes even murder their children, like in the sense of, you know, maybe somebody has a pre-existing condition and then this just exacerbates everything, and then they end up just losing the plot, right?
Yep.
But you know, interacting with anybody and doing it amicably all the time is really impossible. It really is. You know, like you can't
Yep.
always interact with each other and get along and have like synergy all the time. You can't. It's very very, especially if you live in close proximity with each other, especially if your relationship is close, right?
Yep.
Um, so I will say that then you throw in the fact that this child is influenced by other people as well, right? Because he has his mom, he has his dad, of course, who's with you, and then
Yep.
he has other kids that he interacts with at school. Because
Yes.
goodness only knows what the heck they talk about when they're at school together, and they influence one another. I get this.
Yep. Oh,
I'm laughing because Catherine says, "What? You don't always get along with everyone?" No, I
no.
don't. Want to, but I don't. So I can totally understand that it's, you know, it's a difficult situation to be in, Dorothy. Like, you know, hey, it's life. It's life.
Well, and it's funny because like people bitch to me about their children and their and then uh, and things like that. And they don't listen. I said, okay, how about this scenario? How about you're expected to be an amazing role model? You're expected to drop everything and be there and do everything for a specific somebody who at times doesn't appreciate even the air that you breathe, but you're still expected to put your shit aside and you can't say anything. You can't discipline. You're supposed to
No.
wait till the parent comes home, and you're supposed to just politely step aside and let somebody else take care of it when you're in the thick of it and all you really want to do,
It's just
not that I would
safe.
ever do this, I just want to sometimes pick them up, put them against the wall and say, are you kidding me? I have never laid a hand on them, nor will I ever.
Yeah.
But it's just like, it's frustrating, um, because it's just like, and then you're not supposed to be upset. You're supposed to just like, oh, okay, I'll allow you to take care of it and just walk away. You know,
Yeah. No.
yeah, that's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Oh
Before,
my.
be my luck, my husband, this will be the only episode my husband watches.
I know, right? Oh my gosh. Whitney says so much about parenting is really reparenting yourself, which no one can give you. Man, oh man, Whitney, you just hit the nail on the head. That's
Okay, so
crazy.
I have a story to tell you. So my dad was a hard ass. Uh, Kids were to be seen and not heard. If you asked once, the answer was no, you were never to ask again. And if you did, you would have gotten backhanded. Or, you got the look, and trust me, even the look was something you never wanted. My dad perfected the look. And so therefore, we respected my father. We respected his decisions. You never talked back, ever. I don't care. To the day he died, I never talked back to my dad, ever. Uh, and so when you have, that's how you're raised. And when the pandemic hit, his mom took the first month off, and then after that she's like, I have to get back to work. There's no way that I can continue this. So I asked my boss if I could work from home, and we were able to for a little bit. So here I am with this child that has an attention span of a goldfish, and that is just, any little thing his teacher does, he's in my office bugging me about this, right? And I'm like, countless times, please go back to your desk, please go back, listen to your teacher. There's one teacher, there's 30 you kids, just please listen. And I, after about 30 days of this, I was ready to break. And I called my dad and I said, how did you raise us like this? How in the world did you two stay together and parent us the way you did? Like, I thought we turned out pretty good. And he says, Dorothy Ann, you can't raise kids today like I raised you. And I said, well, how do I do that? Because that's the only way I know. And I was like, here this man is that has been the hard ass my entire life. The only way I know in life on how to be and how to act, I learned from him. And you're telling me I'm supposed to give all that up and not have a clue how to continue on. I sat in
Yeah.
the middle of our hallway. I was on my hands and knees and I prayed. I'm like, God, you got to change something in this house because I can't continue on like this. Not to mention the fact we weren't allowed to leave the house back then. Um, that was right in the middle of everything. And of course, my husband was off to work, never having to take care of being a stay-at-home parent. And while you're supposed to be working, um, dealing with his own stuff at work because things were not pretty where he was working either. But what I'm just saying is it was a different dynamic. And when
Oh,
your parent tells you that you can't parent like that, I'm just like, I have got nothing.
yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
uh,
Well, no one told me that. No one told me. I had to figure that all on my own. I mean, I have a 21-year-old, right? Um, and a 15-year-old and then an 8-year-old. So I have the full spectrum, and they're all girls, um, all very different to one another. And I can't do it the way that it was done to me. I
yeah,
can't because there's just so much that's different. I am I'm in Canada. I was raised in South Africa. It's a different dynamic. But yeah, it is not easy, that's for sure. That is really, really true. Um,
100%.
wow.
And so,
Catherine,
and then you have
yes.
the dynamic of the split family. And so, but my girlfriend said one thing to me that completely changed my outlook on a bunch of different things. And she said, do you think your husband would act the same way if he would have still been married to his ex-wife, if they were still living together? And I'm like, absolutely. So then when she said that, I'm like, okay, so basically it's no different, only the child's
Different.
not biologically mine. Right. And so anyways, that's a whole other story, but it gave me a new perspective on things and made me look at things a whole different way.
Yeah. Wow. Um, let's see. Catherine says she's talking to Whitney, but she said, I try to always treat each child as an individual because they were different people. I know, shock, right? Yeah, that's the thing. But the other thing about that is the converse of that is so you have three different kids, but you have a certain policy about, like, say, X.
Yep.
Can you apply the same freaking policy to each child? If you
I would hope
don't,
so.
yes, you would hope so. You would hope so. But if you don't, I know for sure, like, there will be retaliation, there will be a mutiny on your hands. But if you do, it's not always applicable. It's not one size fits all. I
No.
wish.
because each child's different, so you have to speak to them in their language, their love language. Oh, 100%. And what is the one thing what is the one thing as an adult we want to be seen, heard, and appreciated. Well, that your
Yeah.
child's no different, only as an adult you need to humble yourself and say, wait a minute, we have bad days, so of course they're going to have bad days. And I
Yeah.
really had to take a look at myself, because I was just like, because I had that mentality, growing up. Kids are just supposed to
Yeah.
just suck it up and do what they're told. But
Yeah.
on the other side of it, if I had the grace for my child the way I would want grace for myself, you have to look at it at a whole different level. And
Yeah.
let's face it, our parents did the best that they could with what they had and the knowledge that they had.
Yes, they
Our
did.
generation is different because we have new information,
Yeah.
and things like that. And honest to God, my parents, the best parents on the planet. They had the best and did the best that they could. We never
Yeah.
went without, and so that for that I'm internally grateful.
Yeah. But when you know better, you do better, right?
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah. So let me ask this question. When you became a stepmom, was it easier than it is now? Or has it
Um,
always been the way that it is?
let's just say that my child and I go in circles.
Yeah. It's cyclical,
uh,
right?
different things have become a lot easier, and other, because he's older now, we now have new things.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think now it's the things that, um even though this kid is not biologically mine, there is no DNA of me in him. I see things that he's doing that I went through when I was younger. And so he's being bullied and things like that in school, and
Yeah.
I see different things that he's doing that I used to do, and I'm like, I really want to sit him down and say, don't do it that way, do it this way, please learn from my mistakes, please learn from me. But I'll share different stories with him. I won't put it into exactly those words, but I will, I'm usually the one that picks him up after school to bring him to our house. So if I know, he's going through something, I will have that conversation with him, um,
Yeah.
and just share with him how I dealt with it. But I take a look at everything that, especially lately, that's going on, and I'm like, oh my God, I can see where this is headed if we don't cut this off, but I don't know. And I talked to my husband about it, and I'm like, Joe, you know, I see where this is going. And I said, but I don't want to say anything. He says, no, don't. So I'm like, okay. So I have to go with what my husband says. Because technically he's not mine. So
Oh,
I can
intervene.
only guide so much. Let's just put it
Yeah.
that way.
Yeah. I get it. But one thing that I have to say, like, it's been years and you still try, you still do, which is very reflective of who you are. You are somebody that is persistent. You persevere through things, right? And I just want to say hats off to you, Dorothy. It's not
Thank you.
easy. It's not easy, really. It's not easy raising a child, but it's not easy raising somebody else's child too. Um, and something that Whitney said. She says here, now think about what teachers go through.
Oh, exactly. 100%. However, he's got a couple teachers. Okay, so during the pandemic, they had to do this project, and when I saw it, I flipped. So the one teacher had made the stepmom out to be like a wicked witch. Okay, and I was just like,
Mhm.
why would they do that? And generally, the real mom, the biological mother, and I really are on the same page in a lot of different things. So that has been on my side, because I think if we were still in a place where we weren't, then I probably would have given up by now. Um, But well, maybe not, probably not, because I'm too stubborn to quit. But anyways, um, uh, scratch that out. Edit that, will you? Anyways, so so
You are.
I, anyways, so I took offense to it because, and Brady comes in and he was all like, he was offended for me. And I was just like, why would she do that? Because that's just portraying that every stepmother out there is evil. And because it was like that character from the 101 Dalmatians, that evil character
Oh,
that,
yes.
yeah,
Oh, I love the show.
yeah. And I was just like, why? Like, I got really, really upset about that. And I wanted to have a one-on-one. Well, the real mom like laughed it off and says, oh, please, whatever, just let it go. And I'm just like, no, I will not let that go. Uh, but anyways, all the stepmoms are not evil. I'm just here to say that we all do love our children. Um, we just have different challenges than real parents.
Yeah, or biological parents, because you are a real
Biological.
parent. You
Yes.
are.
Yes.
Um, wow. Okay. So
Are you glad you asked that question? We went off on a whole different area that I never thought would come out, but
I
that's
didn't
okay.
go through either. But there's probably somebody that needed to hear this. So thank you for being open to sharing. Um, we need to wrap up, but I need to ask you, what are your final thoughts on perseverance, that you can share with our listeners, and how they can also implement this in their own lives?
You know, those are tough questions because how do you teach perseverance? You really can't. You have it or you don't. I think. I think.
I
Anyways,
disagree with you.
okay. And I'm willing to listen to your point of view. But, like I said, I only know just putting one foot in front of the other. That's all I know. So to teach that, all I would say is don't give up. Find people that you can connect with that may be going through the same thing and just really, um, you know, get together what is that? I'm laughing because I want to get it out, but I can't get it out. A support group, form a support group on whatever it is that you really need help with busting through, or
Okay.
find your community or find your tribe of people that are going to help you in those moments where you don't think you could go any further, where you think, I'm going to give up. I don't want to talk to anybody else today. I'm going to go to my room. I'm going to crawl under the covers, read a good book, or go to sleep.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to do, just reach out to that person, because you got
Yeah.
to have at least one person that you can talk to bounce things off of. And if you don't have that person, come find me. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Facebook as Dorothy Graham O'Dell. Find me and I'll be that person for you. And just really know that you're not alone, and just don't give up. Just keep putting that one foot in front of the other.
I love it. Thank you. Thank you, Dorothy. And if you are listening and would like to know how you can cultivate your own perseverance, stay tuned. I'm going to be talking about that after I close off the live part of this show. So, if you want to hear more about perseverance and how to cultivate your own, tune in. I'm going to be talking about it on africa.co.za. Dorothy, you were amazing as always. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
being open and chatting here with us. It was good to learn your point of view. Uh,
Hopefully,
if
I
you
didn't
need,
traumatize anybody.
so it's all good. We need to talk about what's real, right?
Yes.
And real. That's real. It's very real. Um, Raising kids is not an easy thing. It's not. But neither is any form of adversity that we go through. So
Yeah.
thank you for being here and you know, coming and spending this time with us. I want to acknowledge some comments that I've received. So Catherine says, if you don't have a tribe and you don't mind, not normal, then I'm happy to hang out with you. You're hilarious. I don't think anybody's normal, to be honest with you. I don't even think I am.
Define normal. I want to know what normal is because I don't think it exists.
Me too. And Catherine also says you can share your journey, but you can't make them listen or learn, even if they do listen. That is so true. You know, and you think about like when we were children, right? Did we
Yep.
always listen to our parents? Maybe not.
I
But,
did all the time. I was the perfect
older,
child.
yeah, okay. But when you're older, you think about the things that your parents spoke about. I always remember things that my mother said, you know, you choose whether you allow something to make you better or better. That was one of the things that she said all the
Yep.
time. And I think about that. I think about that because, yeah, a lot of crap in our lives can make us feel extremely better if we choose for that to happen.
Yep.
Or we can let it make us better. So thank you, Dorothy, for being here and spending this time. I know you need to go back to the office, so
Yes.
you can go while I wrap up.
All right. Thanks, guys. Thank you so much, Inger. Bye.
It's a pleasure. Thank you. And yes, we have reached the end of the live section. So if you would like to continue to listen, please do. I'm going to play a song for Dorothy. This is her song. So yeah, come on over to africa.co.za and tune in as I play some music and wrap up the conversation because you would like to know. I know you do. I know you want to hear what what you need to do in order to grow your own perseverance. Until next time, everyone, take care. Be blessed, and I'll see you back here next week for another episode of Wonder Women Wednesday. And if you have time, jump on over to um, the online radio, and we can continue the conversation over there. Take care. Be blessed. Bye for now.